Pat Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
And we're back to business as usual in Texas. 73 degrees yesterday.
I know.
73.
Yeah. A swing from -5.
It's 5 below at your house.
5 below at my house, and then 129 hours later, 73.
Oof. Needless to say, snow melted, and we're back to normal now, pretty much. I think everybody's power is back. Are there still people without power? There may be in some pockets, but I think generally speaking, the crisis seems to have subsided. I think we're out of the woods now, at least.
TV's Rob down the hall there was out of power Sunday through Thursday.
Oh, my gosh.
And he never left his house, apparently, during that entire time.
Must have been cold.
Said he could see his breath inside the house. Right, Rob?
Oh, jeez. Ugh. Is that true, Rob?
Yeah, it was terrible.
It sounds terrible. Yeah. We got down to, in my house, probably 50 at one point. It might have been 50. But the power would come back on, warm it up a teeny bit, and then it's back off again. So I guess some people are getting bills of $5,000 for the week.
I saw 30,000 mentioned.
30?
And what's happening is this auto draft bullcrap.
Wow.
It's what is causing that? First of all, never set yourself up for auto draft for instances like this.
That's crazy.
And so, I mean,
what do you do about it?
You're at the mercy of a computer. Well, you're going to have to.
You're going to have to go to the power company and see if they'll work something out with you.
I think they're going to.
I would think they're going to.
Yeah, this is a mistake.
Yeah, I hope so.
But it's happening all over the state. Jeez. I mean, do you pay a hookup fee every time they reconnect your power? Is that what's happening here? And so the 30 or so times that I don't know. I have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, I don't either. I think some of it is price gouging. I think some people who had power the whole time, the power companies were kind of taking advantage and saying, guess what? It's $1,500 per kilowatt hour now. In fact, that is what the feds said to Texas they could do in order to increase to maximum power. There were a couple of reasons for the nightmare that we experienced last week as far as energy is concerned. One of which is the unreliable renewable energy nonsense because it all froze. We had the wind turbines freeze and snow-covered solar panels. Got no power from them. Okay, so Texas, strangely enough, probably has more power from renewables than any other state. We get about 20% from wind. So that's shut down. That's gone. However, Governor Abbott asked the Department of Energy to allow us to increase our capacity to the max.
And they asked on Sunday before it got dire.
Right. Can we increase? Because we can handle 110%. And so he went to the feds because of their pollution regulations. You can't normally do that. But this was a special circumstance. He declared an emergency. And so he said, hey, how about you let us go to maximum power so we can service everybody? No. Not unless you increase the price to $1,500 per kilowatt hour. What? Okay, well, not doing that. So all of that, when you understand what was going on last week, makes the Schumer comment, Chucky Schumer, the Senate Majority Leader, it makes it all the more intolerable. Here's what he had to say about Texas.
The bottom line is Texas thought it could go at it alone and built a system that ignored climate change. It was not what's called resilient. And
pause it
now
for a
Texas
second.
is paying the price.
We built a system that ignores climate change. We've got wind turbines that supply 20% of our energy. Between the turbines and the solar, we probably have more renewable energy than any other state in the country. We should look that up. Does anybody else get 20% from wind? What is he? He didn't even know what he's talking about. All right, let it go.
that ignored climate change. It was not what's called resilient.
Unreal.
And now Texas is paying the price. I hope they learn the lesson. When we build power, when we build anything now, we have to take into account that climate change is real, or people will be caught the way the people in Texas were.
Can you believe this giant human turd? This total and complete buffoon? Yeah, we did learn something. We learned that, as always, your global warming BS is the dumbest hoax in the history of this planet. That's one of the things we learned. He has the unmitigated gall during a time when in Texas, we're in the single digits or in some cases below zero. It hasn't happened for, a century. And now here we are in the midst of global warming, having this kind of cold snap. And it's global warming.
That's what's so fun. Mm-hmm.
And we also learned that your so-called renewable energy is worthless when you need it the most. And we learned that because of you and all the global warming douchebags that place your Gaia religion above people actually died as a result. Yeah, we learned a lot. We learned a lot, Chucky. What did you learn during Superstorm Sandy? How about if Ted Cruz had badmouthed New Yorkers the way you badmouthed Texas and Texans? It's just, wow. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. 888-900-3393.
Here's your breakdown for Texas.
All right.
This is from the Comptroller of Texas. Natural gas is over 47%. Next in line is coal at 20.3%. Wind is right at 20.0%. Nuclear is 10.8%.
Mm-hmm.
Solar 1.1%. Hydro 0.2%. Biomass, what's that, poop?
Yeah, probably.
0.1%. And then other is around 0.1%, whatever that is.
So the nuclear thing was a problem, too, because some button froze on the nuclear plant.
Yeah.
So there's 30% of our electricity we lost right off the bat in the clean energy.
More than that, because solar is 1.1.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Right.
Anyway,
so it's 32%.
Hydro was probably frozen. I don't know. I have no idea. So we were over 30% was locked down at one point.
And then the Department of Energy says, no, sorry.
Yeah.
You can't do what you need to do.
And that sucks. Absolutely. Federal government, who really controls the Texas electrical grid at the end of the day? It's the federal government. But I'm sorry. Greg Abbott, just say, screw you. Deal with it later.
Yes.
Screw you. We're powering up every possible energy source. You can send in your National Guard or the Army or whatever if you want to.
All right.
He when push comes to shove, man, he disappoints.
He has been lately. He's been pretty disappointing. We've praised him up and down for the last several years. Yeah. Ever since he's been in office, we loved him. But wow.
Think about that.
It's been a different deal lately.
It's when times are good, when things are going normal. Greg Abbott is the gold standard. But you get a pandemic or an ice age setting in. Again, he didn't do anything wrong with this whole electricity thing, but
no, the one who
you can thumb your nose at the DOE.
The one who you can point the blame at, of course, is Ted Cruz. He's the one who did something wrong.
Thank you. I'm glad
he went to Cancun when he should have been crawling up in our attics and fixing our pipes, bastard.
Right?
Instead, what's he doing? He's in Cancun, warming himself, getting some sun, getting a tan.
Next time you want to pull that, Teddy, be sure to switch parties, then get on your flight.
Right.
And then you become immune for the week.
Then you'd be fine.
You see? And why is Joe Biden backing out on visiting us? I mean, he could actually do something, whereas Ted Cruz is not, ironically enough, being the Texas senator, can't really do anything, whereas the president of the United States could. Anyhow.
Yeah, and Ted Cruz is left to encouraging companies not to gouge their customers, that kind of stuff. What's he going to do? What's he going to do in this crisis? Again, he's not going to fix your pipes. I'm sorry. He's not going to do that. So he's not going to mandate to a company that they do something because he can't. The governor is the person in charge of doing something in a state of an emergency like that. And he tried to do a few things. as Keith mentioned. He should have just done it. And then beg forgiveness rather than ask permission.
There you go.
And then we wouldn't have been in the situation we were in last week. But to blame all of this, I mean, they're still hammering Cruz on him going to Cancun. Jeez,
yeah,
man.
now they're saying your family has to quarantine for 14 days before you can get your girls back into school.
Man, it's crazy. It's crazy. Did the family come back with him? Or did he? I think he came back alone.
He's back here, and he is doing what I said. He's out there passing out water bottles, chopping up brisket and all this stuff. And of course, he's just getting mocked.
Right.
Because they're like, oh, okay, I see. It's a photo op.
Yep.
You can't win when you got an R after your name, bro.
Cannot win. You can't win. If you admit to doing something wrong, and that's what you've done when you've apologized, that's just blood in the water to them. To the people who understand, to the people who are going to support you anyway, you don't need to apologize because we know you didn't do anything wrong. And to the left, your apology only means that you confess that you did something wrong. That's all it means. So, anyway, he is encouraging these energy companies to take it easy on people because the Texans, some of them who were able to turn on the lights or keep their refrigerator running, had bills, like we mentioned, of up to $5,000 or $30,000 in some cases. And so he's trying to correct that. He tweeted out, "This is wrong. No power company should get a windfall because of a natural disaster. And Texans shouldn't get hammered by ridiculous rate increases for last week's energy debacle. State and local regulators should act swiftly to prevent this injustice." Separately, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton issued a civil investigation demanding power companies regarding their outages, their emergency plans. He wants a list of their pricing and says that the companies grossly mishandled the weather emergency. Yeah, the ones who grossly mishandled it was the federal government. That's who did this to us, really.
Surprise!
That's who did it to us.
At the end of the day,
Thank you.
And follow government incompetency to the end of the path.
Yeah, and what do they care? They don't care. They weren't here. They're in Washington, D.C., and they're safe, and they're having nice dinners with lobbyists, and they're fine.
But hey, at least it didn't pollute the air last week, right? So that's good.
Right.
Because I would hate to pollute the air. If it means my family is warm and safe and no damage to my house or anything.
For about 5 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't have that kind of pollution going on, though.
Thank you.
Because
I'm not trading my family's comfort for that. Okay? Planet comes first, Pat.
Right. That's exactly right.
Okay.
The planet comes first. So
there's not going to be a planet for your family if you don't shut off the power plant.
Shut up. That's the bull crap excuse they'll use too. I mean, can you believe the stupidity it takes to stand there during this crisis and harp on global warming? It's incredible.
You know what? I can.
It's incredible.
I can at this point in our history.
That's true.
I'm there. I can totally believe this is happening to us. Yes.
Well, good.
I have accepted it. We are in hell, and every week is more maddening than the week before.
Yeah.
So what's this week going to bring, Pat?
Oh, well, it's already bringing lots of fun, lots of racial fun, which we're going to get to in a minute. But let me tell you about, let's show you Jen Psaki when she's asked why Biden, speaking of power and power grids, why is Biden allowing China to be anywhere near our electrical grid? Here's what Jen Psaki
and then I'll come to you, sir. Go ahead. Thanks, Jen. In an executive order that the president signed last week, he also suspended a Trump administration executive order that was particularly aimed at keeping foreign countries, specifically China, from interfering in the U.S. power grid. But he suspended that for 90 days in that executive order last week. Given what you said about China today, why did he do that, especially related to something so critical to our national security as the power grid?
Interesting.
I think the president's view on our relationship with China, I tried to do my best to convey to all of you. I'll have to check on that specific piece, and we'll circle back with you directly.
Sure enough, she's going to circle back on the China question.
Seriously, one of the first things you do when you get into office, that's a priority? Giving foreign countries access to... I don't understand that at all.
I don't either, but I'll have to circle back to you on the reason you did that.
Seriously.
That particular piece, I don't have right now, but I'll circle back to you.
Have you looked in your book there, Jen? Can you
I can't
flip
lift the
around
pages.
and maybe
I can't lift
they're
the pages.
laminated though.
They're heavy. They're heavy this morning, so I can't.
I mean, but it's sitting on the podium.
I haven't had my Wheaties. So let me just circle back to you. I'll have that information later on after you've forgotten about it.
Yeah. And it'll never come up again.
Yeah, it'll never come up again, and you'll never know the answer because I'm really not going to circle back. I'm going to semicircle around it, until I'm just over there. 180 degrees away from you.
But we're over here waiting for the answer.
Right.
And now you're going to be over there?
I'm going to be over there.
So it's like a semicircle back?
Semicircle. Yeah.
Okay. Well, another question is, why is she exempt from wearing a mask inside a federal building?
Isn't that's an interesting question.
You're going to circle back on that one too, Jen?
Circle back.
All right.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
All right. Let me tell you about Built Bar. Just had me one of these this morning. This very morning, I had the salted caramel. So delicious.
Yeah, I had a drawer full of Built Bars before I left for my surgery, and I come back, and it looks like Jeffy has helped himself.
Oh, did he really?
So can we circle back on getting me some more Built Bars in here?
We'll circle back on that, yeah. You're going to love these.
Yes.
They're 110 to 160 calories, 16 to 20 grams of protein, so they're actually pretty good for you, and they taste as good or better than a candy bar.
Yes, they do.
In a zillion different flavors. And so just try a bunch of them. We have so many. Let me circle back on some. Do you like cherry barcia?
I'm in.
Yeah. All right. There's cherry barcia. Then there's the caramel brownie. Oof.
I'm in for that as well.
The double chocolate.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. Everything you say,
Yummy.
I'm in on.
And then.
Whatever it is, I know Built Bar is well enough to know that
German
whatever.
chocolate cake. That's
I'm in
to be
for
really
that as
good.
well. Whoops.
Really, really good. Mm-hmm. There's all kinds of coconut flavors that people seem to be absolutely married to. I'm not a huge coconut fan myself, but the coconut ones are, from what everybody says, delicious. They're all covered in 100% chocolate. Built Bar. They're fantastic. Don't give up on your resolution to eat better. Built Bar can help you do it. Go to BuiltBar.com. Use the promo code PAT20. That will get you 20% off your next order. Promo code PAT20 for 20% off at BuiltBar.com.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
It is. That's a really good point. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. In addition to things getting back to normal as far as the weather is concerned, I think for most of the country, right?
Yeah, a lot of melting going on.
Lots. Yeah. So in some places, I'm guessing there's going to be some flooding, which is unfortunate because, man, when it melted here, it melted fast. As it will do at 73 degrees.
It's a lot of mud out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just scanning the U.S. temperature map right now. Well, okay, you're at 3 degrees in northern Maine.
Ooh.
Sorry, Maine, it always sucks for you up there as far as the weather goes. And but Minnesota's 24 is the cold spot there. A lot different than it was a week ago at this time.
Very much so. All right. Race is going to be a big issue today and this week, apparently. Now, we realized last week from our President Joe Biden, that blacks and Hispanics can't access the internet. They just don't know how. So they need some help. They need some help in that regard. And we have a black man who posted a video to show just how difficult it is for some of these minorities to get on the internet or do something with their computer.
A lot of people don't know how to register. Not everybody in the community, the Hispanic and the African American community, particularly in
don't eat it, man.
rural areas that are distant and
No,
or
you don't eat
inner
it.
city districts know how to get online to determine
Whoa, he's a little scared
how
of
to
it.
get in
Yeah.
line
Oh,
for
man.
that COVID vaccine.
That is genius.
Brilliant.
Absolutely.
So if you're listening to
Brilliant.
the podcast or the audio stream on Blaze Radio, it's a black man who has his shirt off and he's crawling around on the floor looking at the laptop like it's some sort of strange object that fell from the sky.
And approaching it with great caution.
Yeah. Like, what is this?
That is great stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. Although it wouldn't be handled the same way if it was Trump who had said something like that.
No, sir.
You know, there'd be a lot of vitriol. There'd be a lot of hate. But for some reason, because it's Joe Biden, he can get away with this
Just
stuff.
Joe being Joe, Pat.
Yeah, just Joe. Come on now. He didn't mean nothing by it. There's more proof, apparently, that minorities just can't figure out the internet.
Oh, no.
Here's a little more.
Hey, minorities. Do you struggle with basic tasks like getting on the internet? Is doing everyday things wearing you down? Well, struggle no more with our latest invention. Introducing the Personal Democrat Assistant. From the creators of True International Under Pressure, the PDA will help you accomplish the most basic tasks so you can spend more time accusing white people of being racist. Can't understand how to use the internet? It has your back. Can't pick which ethnic group to attack? No worries. Can't decide what to eat for dinner? It knows exactly what you like. We guarantee you'll love your new PDA. Order now. We'll include an inspirational voice message from our CEO.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Don't miss out on this special deal. Call 1-800-UAN-TBLK to get your PDA today. That's 1-800-UAN-TBLK. Call now.
You
ain't black.
You ain't black.
So good. Wow. At least somebody's taking note. Some minorities have taken note that that's incredibly insulting and racist. Come on. But for white people who don't understand how racist they really are, there's some additional help that we've got available to us now as well. I guess Glenn talked about this a little bit on Friday, about the 8 white identities. There is a regime or a regimen of whiteness, and there are action-oriented white identities. People who identify with whiteness are one of these. It's about time we build an ethnography of whiteness.
Oh, boy.
Since white people have been the ones writing about and governing others.
Yeah, this is New York City Public Schools distributing this.
Oh, good. Okay, so this is from the Slow Factory Foundation. So there's a spectrum of white identities that goes from white supremacist to white voyeurism.
What?
Does that mean you're watching other minorities, or what are you doing with?
They got definition.
Then there's white. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Here's a little helpful guide as to what these are. So obviously, white supremacist.
Okay.
Clearly marked white society that preserves, names, and values white superiority.
Okay.
I don't know anybody like that. I don't know a single person
Values
like that.
white. Okay.
White voyeurism wouldn't challenge a white supremacist, desires non-whiteness because it's interesting, pleasurable, seeks to control the consumption and appropriation of non-whiteness, fascination with culture. Example, consuming black culture without the burden of blackness. Well, that seems wrong. Rachel, what's her name? Dola. Remember that? What was her name?
Rachel
Dolezal?
Dolezal, yeah.
White privilege may critique supremacy,
Heard of that one.
but a deep investment in questions of fairness, equality, under the normalization of whiteness and the white rule. Sworn goal of diversity. Number 4 is white benefit.
White benefit. Okay, here we go.
You're sympathetic to a set of issues, but only privately. You won't speak or act in solidarity publicly because benefiting through whiteness in public, some POCs are in this category as well. Some POCs.
Persons of color.
Okay, right. Now we're to number 5.
Number 5.
White confessional. Some exposure of whiteness takes place, but as a way of being accountable to people of color after. Seek validation from people of color. All right? Man, there is nothing you could do that's right.
No.
As a white person.
No, we have.
It doesn't matter what you do. You try to please them? Nope, sorry, that's wrong.
We have learned.
You try not to please them? That's really wrong. You try to just be somewhere in the middle? That's still wrong. There's nothing you can do if you're white. You cannot please anybody. So that's white confessional. Okay. White critical, number 6. Take on board critiques of whiteness and invest in exposing and marking the white regiment. Refuses to be complicit with the regime. Whiteness speaking back to whiteness. Huh. All right.
Okay.
White traitor, and number 7, actively refuses complicity. Oh, how could these people exist? Names what's going on. Intention is to subvert white authority and tell the truth at whatever cost.
But that's not good enough, by the way.
Need them to dismantle institutions.
Okay. Oh, you need them.
You need them.
Oh, they're a tool.
Yeah. We need white traitors. So these are traitors to the white race.
I see. Yeah.
I guess. And then number 8, the white abolitionist. Is this the person who wants to abolish white people? Is that what that is?
I'm thinking yes.
Changing institutions. Yes. Dismantling whiteness.
Yeah.
And not allowing whiteness to reassert itself. Good gosh, can you... All right. If you were to just substitute the word black for every single place it says white, what do you have here? You have the KKK.
Thank you.
That's what you have.
That's what you have.
You talk about supremacy. You just try that. Or Hispanic. Or Asian. Just substitute another race. And what do you have? You have the most racist document I've probably ever seen.
So you got to get rid of whiteness is the bottom line. Just get rid of it.
God, jeez.
Bye-bye.
And they're just saying it in the open like it's perfectly normal and acceptable.
But in order to do this, you're going to have to get not just government and educational institutions behind this, probably corporate, businesses, companies will have to weed out whiteness wherever they find it, right?
Yeah. Yep. Also, this Coke thing is unbelievable.
Sure, that's what I mean. You got to have diversity training at your place of business. Coca-Cola is the latest among us to have their diversity training documents.
But it makes sense, Keith, because they're trying to help us be less white. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So they're trying to be helpers. We're confronting racism.
Okay.
Understanding what it means to be white and challenging what it means to be racist. There it is for you.
Okay.
All right. So these are the images from Coke's diversity training.
All right. What else you got?
It's been making the rounds here in the U.S. and other Western nations. White people are socialized to feel that they're inherently superior because they're white. Really? Seriously?
Okay. Well, do you have some tips on maybe how I could be less white?
Less white?
Yeah, help me out here.
I do. Yeah, I do have some tips. To be less white is to be less oppressive, to be less arrogant.
Okay.
To be less certain.
So don't believe in yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
To be less defensive.
Uh-huh.
To be less ignorant. Be more humble.
Uh-huh.
Listen. Believe. Break with apathy. And break with white solidarity. Now, if you can do some of these things, you'll be less white than you currently are now, which, of course, is a good thing. Again, substitute the word black and see what you have there.
Be less white. So are they suggesting maybe someone put on makeup on their face and then you'd get yelled at for going in blackface?
Yes, you would. Oh, you get more than yelled at.
So what do you...
You wouldn't get to work anymore.
What's a person to do to be... How do you...
Man.
It's madness, dude.
And that's from Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
You know how you can be less white? Drink less Coca-Cola. That's how. I'm sorry. It's time for consequences from some of this garbage.
You're right.
Coke deserves it. Coke deserves a boycott. This is despicable on their part. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up. Oh, that's it? Oh, okay. Yes. Yes, in fact, I am.
To the point.
Got some tweets here. Pat Gray's tweets are here. From B to Bodine, don't jump the gun on the crisis being averted, Pat. Remember, we're just a week and a half away from the Pat Gray New Year, and we all know what happened last year. Circling back for coffee, M, I want to know if there are roads between Pat's house and Ted Cruz's house. Well, he's in Houston, so yeah, I think so.
Wait, but I'm closer, and there's not a road between my house and
No, I know. That's weird, right? That's weird. From Dr. Puddin. That'd be Dr. Jill Puddin. Thank you. Hey, Chucky, please explain why Texas is awesome and New York has masked, no music dancers frolicking on the streets. Oh, by the way, speaking of that, we got the poll results from last week.
Oh, yes.
We asked you which is more bizarre?
More bizarre.
Was that our question?
Yeah, we had the New York City street dancers. And
they look like this.
Notice there is no music happening there. That was dubbed.
We need a recovery that brings back the life and the heart and the energy of this city, and that everyone gets to be a part of.
I look at that. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing.
End of the world.
And then there was the weird sport in Senegal.
Did we ever figure out what that was? This patty cake?
Yeah, we decided it was patty cake. Patty cake.
Oh, well, that's a draw.
You don't know how this is scored, Keith.
You're right.
You don't know.
It's eye contact. You get a point for that. And you definitely don't get points for wardrobe.
This goes on for 2 minutes. And then they just walk back to the center of the ring. And then it's over. I guess. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe something. At least the clip is over. You got to believe there's some wrestling thing after this. I don't know.
You got to believe. This is intense, though. Are they going to be in the Olympics, Tokyo Olympics, going to have patty cake?
Yes.
Pit patty cake?
Yes.
Okay, sand pit patty cake.
So New York City art actually won the more bizarre, 64 to 36%. 64-36.
And I think what that is your tax dollars at work. I think so too. Pat heads are going, look, somebody's paying for this in America.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. All right, we got this from Hogasm. Okay. Hey, Coke. It's try to be less white. If I try to be less white, you'll probably scream. You will then accuse me of cultural appropriation.
Isn't that the truth?
Yes.
Isn't that the truth?
That's a great point.
What is a white person supposed to do now?
Yeah.
I'm serious. There's nothing tongue-in-cheek about this. Be less white. Don't cultural appropriate.
Right.
Right. Help us. They don't.
Again, there's nothing a white person can do.
Nothing.
To satisfy.
You're just going to hate me.
The self-loathing whites and the progressives and everybody else. It's usually not even, I don't think it's even the minorities that are insisting on this. It's usually the elite whites insisting that whites be less white. Shut up. It's so ridiculous. It's so asinine. And again, I think Coke needs some consequences from this stuff. This isn't the first thing they've done. They're also doing the diversity thing that you must diversify in your corporation in order to be a part of what they do. Like if you want to represent them as a lawyer firm or you want to be their accountant or whatever, they do dictate to you what you must have in your organization in order for them to do business with you.
Still talking about Coke?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And now this weird thing.
So bad.
So it was the other thing. It was the corporate thing that Glenn said, okay, I'm done with Coke, and was boycotting Coca-Cola. I think we should boycott Coke. I mean, this is outrageous. And weirdly, I was at the 7-Eleven across the street from us this morning and noticed, okay, there's no milk products in any of the grocery stores. Have you noticed that? Have you been to a grocery store lately?
I have not.
All the milk's gone. All the produce is gone. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff, but milk and produce, completely gone. So that was the case over here in the 7-Eleven, too. All the milk was gone, but so were many of the sodas, including Pepsi. But there was plenty of Coke available.
Interesting.
I wonder if people are just not buying it now already.
No.
I would like to think.
Yeah.
I would like to think.
Yeah. Okay. But so one of the things we learned last segment here on Pat Gray Unleashed was you got to root out white supremacy, right? And you just got to somewhere you're on the spectrum of
well, you're a bad person somewhere.
Right.
Yes.
Well, apparently it's in places we weren't aware of. Like in this tweet here from this doctor, this dietitian lady.
Yeah.
Who kind of warned us, right?
White dietitian. Please stop saying the Mediterranean diet is the healthiest way to eat. This upholds white supremacy.
I'm done.
Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you for that. Does she make a great point or what? Does she make a great point? She doesn't even explain that. Why is it white supremacy?
Help us, please, Lord, help us.
That's just incredible.
Okay. So.
Also, there's this Cartoon Network PSA on race. Check this out.
Your poor kids.
Color blindness is our game because everyone's the same. Everybody join our circle. Doesn't matter if you're white or black or purple.
What the? Whoa. Hold up a minute here. Ugh, who wrote this? I think it kind of does matter that I'm purple. I mean, I'm purple because I'm literally an alien.
Well, I'm not an alien, but it definitely matters to me that I'm black. Yeah, it makes a difference that I'm white. I know the two of us get treated very differently.
I just think it's messed up to compare me being an alien to you two being different races. You're both human. You're totally biologically the same. Adding purple people into a lesson about human racism makes no sense.
Yeah, that is pretty weird. I think people like the black, white, or purple thing because adding a fantasy race in there helps distract from the actual racism black people have to deal with. Right. My experience with anti-black racism is really specific.
Yeah.
Other people of color experience other forms of racism too. But you won't see any of that if you don't see color.
Dude, this entire public service announcement could be a ploy to avoid talking about racism altogether. Hey, can we get a rewrite where we appreciate each other without erasing what makes each of us different?
Okay, but it's gonna add a couple hours to the shoot.
I can make yours open.
You were rolling just now, weren't you? Can't we just slap some graphics on this and call it a day?
So now you see color.
See color, be anti-racist. Okay. Oh.
So we see.
Now we're supposed to see it and realize that there's a difference.
I am so confused. So many mixed messages. And now you've got black students at UNC Chapel Hill that want to be segregated from white people. Help us.
Now segregation is a good thing.
Segregation. So we've come full circle in America. Congratulations.
So now we don't judge people by the content of their character, but by the color of their skin, because we're supposed to see the color of their skin and acknowledge the color of their skin.
But you need to be less white, though.
But we need to be less white. Okay. And it is a good thing now that we're segregating the races. Because, I don't know, you don't want to be around white people because they're not less white enough?
And so help me, if I catch you saying the word Mediterranean diet, if that phrase comes out of your mouth, Mr. White Supremacist, it'll be the last time it comes out of your mouth.
Going to be hard to avoid because I've been so into the Mediterranean diet.
Right.
You know.
And now we know why.
Being a tool of white supremacy, of course.
We're getting, there's no way to turn. You're in a box.
Yeah.
They don't want you turning this way. They don't want you turning that way. They don't care if your intentions are good.
Nope.
You just stay right there, Whitey, and don't say a damn thing. That's all it is.
Yep. That's what it is. Oh. Coke is also testing out their first paper bottle.
Oh, yum.
Good for them. They plan to do a test run of 2,000 paper bottles this summer to see how they perform in the marketplace and with consumers. A prototype was made by a Danish company from an extra long paper shell that contains a thin plastic liner. It's the first step in a long-term project, completely ridding plastic from the company's drink containers.
Wow. That leadership there's got priorities, man.
They've reportedly set a goal of producing zero waste by 2030.
Okay.
In 9 years, they're going to be completely waste-free. Good.
If nobody's buying your product, obviously you don't have to make it, and therefore your carbon footprint goes to zero.
I'd love for that to be the case.
What I would love to see, and is it wrong of me to want this, is just to walk down the old soda pop aisle there and see just Coke leaking out all over the place from these paper boxes. That's what I kind of want to see after the stories today.
And would that surprise you? Not at all. This comes after a charity group called Break Free from Plastic ranked the company as the top polluter of plastic in the world last year. Ooh, that must have hurt them so badly. Being the progressives that they are. Mm-hmm. And so now, okay, well, then we're going to do paper bottles. How about that? How about we do mostly paper bottles?
We'll be better.
Okay.
We'll do paper and we'll get white people out of our company.
Right. What if we shame white people for being white? What if we do that too? Okay? Then you'll get off our back, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's so great.
What do you and your family do to cut back on plastics?
We have recently switched to drinking water bottles out of we have water bottles out of a plastic. Away from plastic towards paper.
Paper.
Drink box water bottles sort of things.
Box water bottles.
Yeah, you and that family of yours, Trudeau.
Yeah.
Sure.
My family's, we're doing drink box water bottles that are plastic thingies. You know, that's what we're doing.
Yeah. So his family's doing that, but the office that he's in charge of still years later isn't doing that because
I love that.
They're still ordering plastic bottles for his government.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A posting on the Federal Procurement website calls for an as-needed bottled water supplier for the Department of National Defense on an as and when requested basis for the period of the standing offer.
Mm-hmm.
So they made an official call
government contract
to their supplier for bottled water.
And that's really recent. It's not an old piece of paper.
That's great.
So
this just happened. So they're still doing bottled water.
Right. They don't deliver paper box water bottle type thingies to the office, just to Trudeau home. That's the only place that they can deliver those.
This is ridiculous.
Hypocrites, man.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, across all areas, all countries.
Yep.
Hypocrites.
All right, let me tell you about real estate agents I trust. Because if you're looking to sell your home or you're buying a home, maybe you're doing both because you're relocating. You need a realtor who can see you through that whole process and a really good one who knows what they're doing. Somebody with a great track record, somebody who has great marketing plans. And that's where realestateagentsitrust.com comes in, because this is Glenn's company. And so his people have really carefully vetted these agents to make sure they're the best in your area. And they're fans of the show, so you've got that in common right from the get-go. So whether you're buying or selling, these are the people who can help you do it for the most money if you're selling, and in the least amount of time. And if you're buying, to get the most out of your money for your home. So go to realestateagentsitrust.com. The name really says it all. realestateagentsitrust.com.
Pat Gray.
Harvard researchers now claim COVID-19 wouldn't have been so bad if the United States had paid reparations. Duh. How many times have we said it? You know, had we just paid reparations.
You say that, I'll say you say it off the air quite a bit. At least once, twice an hour when we go to commercial. We'll look and we'll see the CNN will have the COVID numbers, and you'll go, man. Too
bad we didn't do reparations.
So I'm glad that a researcher is now piggybacking, probably stole what you've been saying.
Right. This will unite us, I'm sure, right? Researchers at Harvard Medical School claim that reparations could have slashed coronavirus transmission by as much as 68% in Louisiana.
Wait a minute. So now the COVID's in the money? It's in our dollar bills? Oh, we're screwed.
If minority American households received as much as...
Now, okay, look, in fairness to the researchers, when you were belly aching about no reparations caused this, you never put a number on it.
I didn't.
These guys did.
They did.
Aha!
If they would have received $850,000 each prior to the pandemic, they wouldn't have gotten the disease.
I wouldn't have either, because I would have been so far from anybody else.
Jeez, man. A group of scholars led by Dr. Eugene Richardson and Dr. Momin Malik looked at differences in frontline work and overcrowded housing by race and used it to compare Louisiana, racially and socioeconomically diverse state, with South Korea, a more racially and economically homogenous country. Nice. Their peer-reviewed study was published by the academic journal Social Science and Medicine. The authors proposed a reparation plan for descendants of slaves in the amounts of $800,000 per household or $250,000 per person, which they claim could have lessened the spread of coronavirus by helping eliminate the racial wealth gap.
Sure.
No rich people got COVID-19. Am I right? Is that how it worked? Well, except for Glenn and Tanya Beck. I'd say they qualify as wealthy.
Yeah, Tom Hanks got it.
Tom Hanks got it. He qualifies as wealthy, so I'm not sure. Though most proposals for reparations have generally been limited to the descendants of people enslaved in the United States, the researchers wrote all black Americans, both those descended from persons enslaved in the U.S. and those who are recent immigrants to the U.S., have a moral claim to reparations for the effects of ongoing systemic racism.
Oh, there it is. I've been waiting for that phrase all morning. We have been so close to it, but finally got there.
Systemic racism, right? Which doesn't exist as far as I'm concerned. It was not built into the system. It absolutely was not. The CDC has observed that rates of infection, hospitalization, and fatality due to COVID-19 are higher among black people than Caucasians, Hispanics, and Asian Americans. Well, it's a racist virus, obviously.
Thank you. Oh, wait. Now, let's start marketing it like that. And we can all unite.
And then we can unite and squash this thing. Plus, more than 35% of adults in Louisiana are obese, compared with just 4% of South Korean adults.
Oh, that's what it is.
So if they had $850,000, obviously they'd eat less.
They wouldn't be skinny.
Am I right? It's obvious if you got all the money in the world to spend on food, you're not going to.
I don't follow this study at all.
Oh, it's asinine. We got more, though, on the way. And welcome to it. Great to have you with us. Got some tweets here. Brian Moore tweets, when will the White House need to be called something else? All the slave owners and whiteys like Trump that have been living there? Yeah. I wouldn't put it past anybody to start harping on that, too.
Today's joke is literally tomorrow's reality. Ask the Babylon Bee.
The Steve42 tweets, I knew there was a reason I prefer Dr. Pepper. From generic white male, that Cartoon Network PSA will really piss off people who identify as purple aliens. Right?
Look at that thing. That's
what's the name of that cartoon? Any idea?
Rappy and Friends?
Yes, okay. That's it, exactly.
I have no idea.
That's it, exactly. Former NFL star Herschel Walker has testified or is going to testify against the reparations bill. Yeah, he did. Against it. He actually already did. He says, we use black power to create white guilt. He said, my approach is biblical. How can I ask my Heavenly Father to forgive me if I can't forgive my brother? It's so great. America is the greatest country in the world for me. Melting pot of a lot of great races, a lot of great minds that have come together with different ideas to make Americans the greatest country on earth. Many have died trying to get into America. No one is dying to get out. That's for sure. Reparations. Where does the money come from? Does it come from all the other races except the black taxpayers? Who is black? What percentage of black must you be to receive reparations? Do you go to 23andMe or a DNA test to determine the percentage of blackness? Some American ancestors just came to this country 80 years ago. Their ancestors weren't even here during slavery. Some black immigrants weren't here during slavery, nor their ancestors. Some states didn't even have slavery. I mean, a lot of good questions there from Herschel Walker.
Very good stuff.
Herschel Walker's awesome. Yeah. And how do you resolve any of those issues? Because they're going to try to push this through this time. I really think they've got a good shot at it because, all the things that we thought, okay, that's nonsense and everybody knows it. Nope, not so much anymore. I mean, it's still nonsense. It's just that not everybody knows it.
Yeah.
So it makes it really, really difficult. Now we turn to COVID-19. The big celebration on the Drudge Report over the weekend. We hit 500,000 deaths. And they love it when we hit these milestones because they make a huge deal out of it.
Yeah, tonight, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are going to mark that number in a ceremony.
Yay! Will there be fireworks?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, that's up late for Joe, too.
It's pathetic, yeah.
Doesn't he go to bed at like 4?
Yes. Yes, he does. Right after the early bird brunch, I think. The early bird dinner, which happens at, 3:30 or 4 in the afternoon at the Golden Corral.
Yeah, well,
and then it's right to bed.
Yeah, I don't want to chime in too much here.
Really?
That's my schedule, man.
Is it? Okay.
Eat at 4, bed by 7. Good night now.
Yeah, but you and I are up pretty early. Earlier, I guarantee you, than Joe Biden.
Yeah. What time does the nurse wake him up? Hand him his pills?
Right after he's gone to the bathroom for the 4th time.
Again, I don't want to chime in too much here.
But he hasn't gotten up for that. So, it's... but they're taking precautions on that, I'm sure. Anyway, Governor Kristi Noem is discussing masks and mask mandates because people are all upset that she still hasn't enforced a mask mandate in her state, South Dakota. Why not? What is going on? What's the matter with you? Here's what she says.
You've been resistant to implement mask mandates. You're skeptical of their efficacy at times.
I never said that, Joe. Don't put words in my mouth.
Well, humor me here a little bit.
What I've said is the appropriate mask at the appropriate time, utilized correctly and kept sanitary, can make a difference. But I also don't believe it's my role to mandate that people wear a mask.
Nice.
I've left for the entire year it up to personal responsibility to make the best decisions for them and their families, and I'll continue to do that.
So now that the CDC is recommending 2 masks...
Well, the CDC has changed their recommendations many times.
Stupid. This is the time now that... She wouldn't mandate 1 mask, but now that they said 2, now I'm going to do it. Yes, you're right.
Yeah, now can I get you into 1, Governor?
Dummy. All right, let's see her response. She's great.
It has changed their recommendations many times. In fact, we've seen the CDC change their recommendations based on political pressure in the past. I choose to rely on science and data and facts. And masks can work in certain situations if you're wearing the right kind and you're doing it appropriately. But I'm not going to mandate it. It's not an argument over whether masks work or if they don't work. I've never argued that. What I argue is the mandate. I think the mandate is inappropriate for government to come in and mandate that somebody wear a mask. And I think it's inappropriate for us to shame people who choose not to wear a mask. That's not what America's about, and it's not what South Dakota's about.
So no double mask mandates coming?
Not coming in South Dakota. So I will not be doing that. That's for sure.
I love that.
So no double mask mandate. And when they come up with 3, the triple mask mandate, you won't do it then either? What about the quadruple mask mandate when that happens? Will you do that one?
No. Are you understanding it? She doesn't believe in mandates.
Pick any number greater than 0 and no is the answer.
So when they say that you have to use a whole box of surgical masks, all 50 of them at the same time.
Oh, 50?
Okay,
you got to the magic number. Now I'm on board.
Yeah, that's the appropriate number. I've just been waiting for the appropriate number.
You didn't ask a specific question. My goodness.
I mean, it's so stupid. It is such ridiculousness, if that's a word. Let's look it up. See if ridiculousness.
Okay.
Is
I will say that was the last question of this long press conference. And she just goes, any more questions? And I'm thinking, after that one, they're all just, no, ma'am.
No. Yeah, you pretty well covered it.
Let's see here.
According to Dr. Fauci, masks may still be worn into 2022.
Go away, dude.
Even as the country relaxes other restrictions to combat COVID-19. Man. While daily infection rates are coming down dramatically, thousands of Americans still die every day from the virus.
Yeah, we got this clip.
And less than 15% of the U.S. population has been vaccinated against it. And here's the Dr. Saint to talk about it.
You and the president have suggested that we'll approach normality toward the end of the year. What does normal mean? Do you think Americans will still be wearing masks, for example, in 2022?
You know, I think it is possible that that's the case. And again, it really depends on what you mean by normality. If
right,
normality
that's what I want you to
is
define
exactly the way it... No, Dana, it's important because if normality means exactly the way things were before we had this happen to us, I mean, I can't predict that. I mean, obviously, I think we're going to have a significant degree of normality beyond what the terrible burden that all of us have been through over the last year, that as we get into the fall and the winter by the end of the year, I agree with the president completely that we will be approaching a degree of normality. It may or may not be precisely the way it was in November of 2019, but it'll be much, much better than what we're doing right now.
May I also take note that there is no A in the word winter.
Huh.
It is not winter. It's winter, but... Be that as it may.
Be that as it may.
I am not going to wear masks for another year.
Let me tell you
something.
something.
Not going to do it.
I'm also not going to accept the phrase degree of normality.
Mm-hmm.
No, I want
normalcy.
I want October 2019, bro. Right now.
Yes, I know. Me too.
Let's go to South Dakota. Take the show up there.
I was watching the Australian Open over the weekend, and while everybody had masks on, they had a pretty decent crowd inside the stadium for the championship match. I was pretty impressed, and I don't know if that means that Australia has mostly eradicated the disease.
You've got a pet head in Australia who's often updating us, and the mandates, from my last understanding, aren't far and wide there. They're in specific cities. And where they are, they're really cracking down. But I don't know which town this was in. But that's I think that's.
I mean, it was almost like a normal sized crowd. It sounded like it was great to see and to hear. And I hope Major League Baseball doesn't have to go through another year of nobody in the stands. That would be.
I will say that yours truly plans on being at an Atlanta Braves game real soon. And I was able to order tickets. They haven't delivered them yet.
Oh.
But I did get an email last week that said, we're going to make a decision soon.
Oh, really?
On if your tickets are going to be affected by local ordinances and MLB policies and blah, blah, blah.
Is it here or is it
It's in Atlanta. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know yet if it's going to happen, but MLB wants fans in the stands. So
hope they get it. Mm-hmm. Fauci, of course, has won a nice award here.
Oh, goody.
He was awarded the $1 million Dan David Prize for his defense of science and advocacy of COVID-19 vaccinations.
You got nominated for that once, didn't you?
Yeah, 3 times. I'm a 3-time nominee.
Dan David?
The Dan David Prize. Yeah. I haven't won it yet, but I've been nominated 3 times.
You're like the Susan Lucci of Dan David Prizes.
And it's just an honor to be nominated, you know? The private Israeli Foundation also touted Fauci's lifetime of leadership on HIV research and AIDS. If you're to read up on Fauci's HIV experience, you might not be so excited about it as they are at the New York Post. In a statement, the Dan David Prize credited Fauci with courageously defending science in the face of uninformed opposition during the challenging COVID. What do you mean? He took both sides of every argument for a year. Both sides. As the COVID-19 pandemic unraveled, Fauci leveraged his considerable communication skills to address people gripped by fear and anxiety and worked relentlessly to inform individuals in the United States and elsewhere about the public health measures essential for containing the pandemic's spread. In addition, he's been widely praised for his courage in speaking truth to power in a highly charged political environment. What nonsense.
So much.
Jeez.
Just go away, Fauci.
I mean, here's Dr. Fauci as we flash back a bit on the unintended consequences of quarantining the sick. Now, I think he's talking about Ebola here, right? But he's just talking about quarantines in general.
Okay.
The issue of quarantines, we now have New York, New Jersey, Illinois, 3 airports there, Newark, JFK, O'Hare, that do receive passengers from the impacted countries. They are doing mandatory quarantines.
Young there.
Good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first thing we need to do is make sure the primary goal is to protect the American people. But there are ways to do that may not necessarily have to go that far at all.
So they've gone too far. Governors Cuomo and Kristi overreacting?
I don't want to be directly criticizing what the decision that was made, but we have to be careful that there are unintended consequences. The best way to stop this epidemic is to help the people in West Africa. We do that by sending people over there, not only from the USA, but from other places. We need to treat them, returning people, with respect and make sure that they're really heroes. So the idea that we're being a little bit draconian, there are other ways to protect. There's monitoring, there's direct monitoring, there's active monitoring. We don't necessarily need to do that.
That's interesting.
So we treat people from Africa with respect.
But not here.
But not Americans.
Right.
When it comes to stopping infectious diseases. Okay.
Well, let's flash back again. Here he's talking about the epidemic of fear in the United States.
What's the most important thing we've learned so far?
Well, we've learned that we've got to be more, continue to be aggressive in our educating people to understand. Because right now we have a devastating epidemic in West Africa, and we're having an epidemic of fear in the United States. So we've got to continue to try and educate people about what they need to or do not need to be afraid of.
And so far, if there are no symptoms, there's no contagion.
Right.
Okay.
There you go.
Love it, though.
Yeah.
He's been seriously, he's been on both sides of just about everything for more than the last year, for his whole career, as a matter of fact.
Is there anyone who has made a better living off of being wrong about everything and on opposite sides of everything than this guy?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, our weathermen have a better track record than this guy, yet they're making candles that you can worship or whatever, I mean, there are people that literally worship this guy.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, get it.
All right. Let me tell you about Omega XL. If you're in pain, as I was with my elbow, and the pain radiated down my arm and made it so that I couldn't even pick anything up with my left arm. And so I started taking Omega XL, and after about a week, the pain started to lessen. After 2 weeks, it was completely gone. So I love this stuff. Whether you have back, knee, or neck, or your shoulder, wherever the pain is, and the underlying cause is inflammation, Omega XL can definitely help you. It's backed by 35 years of clinical research. It attacks inflammation that causes your pain, and it essentially has an off switch to the inflammation, neutralizes the inflammation. So that you won't have the painful, stiff joints and muscles. This is life-changing stuff. It can make you feel so much better. Get out of pain. Let's get you started. When you order one Omega XL bottle, you'll get a second one for free. That's OmegaXL.com/Pat. You buy one, you get one free. OmegaXL.com/Pat or call 800-844-4888.
Radio Network.
And some tweets. Carl Smith tweets, if I become less white, can I apply for those reparations?
Oh,
interesting.
I like loopholes.
Interesting. From Todd Curtis, question. If and when the powers that be say masks are no longer required, will the ones that have been sufficiently frightened enough and still wear them be called science deniers? I don't know. You're asking me questions that situations haven't happened yet, so I don't really know.
Right. I don't know. But you know that for the rest of our existence, there will be people in our society, regardless of mandates or no mandates, that will be wearing masks.
Wear a mask, absolutely.
Everywhere you go.
Yep. We used to see that in Asia all the time. Remember that? And so it'll be like that, I think. People will just be continually wearing them. I won't be among them, however. Data warning tweets Governor Noem. The CDC has just mandated diving bells to protect us from COVID-19. Are you going to mandate that all your citizens of South Dakota purchase diving helmets? I've seen your hernia tweets, Pat. I believe ridiculosity is the correct term. The definition I just made up is high velocity ridiculousness. And you're welcome.
Well, both words, ridiculosity and the word you used, ridiculousness.
Are both words?
Yeah, I looked it up. And
ridiculosity is a word?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Really?
I'm Dr. Galakowicz.
Wow, okay.
Yes, it is, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Free exercise tweets. A high point of my morning, the Keith meltdown.
I'm sorry,
That happens every morning.
The news we hear and read on a daily basis is...
It is hard to take.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Also, from Tobin for Pope, after hearing Fauci say masks until 2022, I just heard Pat break into song in my head.
Oh.
As soon as I saw the headline. Shut up, Fauci. Fauci, shut up. It's been a while, so...
Yeah.
The lyrics are very complex. I hope you can follow it.
Here we go. Let's see what we got here.
Socially relevant, though. Shut up, Fauci. Fauci, shut up. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah. Shut up, Fauci. Fauci, shut up. Yeah.
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 There you go. And you're welcome.
Well, it's complicated because I didn't know when to say
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, it's complex.
I mean, that's
my
fault.
Worth it, I think.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Did you see Disney is now deeming the Muppets offensive?
Oh, no. Blake, no.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
This is why I melt down, Pat.
I know, Keith. The Muppets, fictional hand puppets that have been entertaining children and adults since 1955, are suddenly offensive.
Yeah.
Disney released 5 seasons of the iconic The Muppet Show on Disney Plus streaming service on Friday. Viewers quickly noticed there's an offensive content disclaimer before the beloved sitcom with celebrated puppets like Kermit the Frog, Miss Piggy, Fozzie Bear, and Gonzo. The disclaimer reads, "This program includes negative depictions and or mistreatment of people or cultures. These stereotypes were wrong then, and they're wrong now." So then your question is, all right, well, why did you put them on your service then? Rather than remove this content, you didn't have it on there. You just put it on. You didn't have to remove it. It wasn't there.
When you say it like that.
Rather than remove this content, we want to acknowledge its harmful impact, learn from it, and spark conversation to create a more inclusive future together, and to make more money for the Mouse House.
Wait, that's in there?
Last part added by Pat Gray.
Should be in there.
So pathetic. Disney is committed to creating stories with inspirational and aspirational themes that reflect the rich diversity of the human experience around the globe. Okay. All righty. I mean, so the Muppets are now somehow offensive. I don't know why. Possible offensive content could be the puppet named Animal.
What?
Objectifying and chasing women. They think. Also, the Swedish chef, and you don't want to offend the Swedes, right? Am I right? Speaks a gibberish language that is widely interpreted as Swedish sounding. Okay. And that's wrong, of course.
Okay, but they're white, so get over it.
Right?
And Jeffy would say that, look, Animal's not going to chase you around, woman, if you wouldn't run.
The variety show featured celebrities, including a 1981 episode featuring legendary singer Johnny Cash. But get this.
What?
There was a Confederate flag in the background.
No.
Yeah.
No, you can't be doing that.
No, you cannot. No, you can't. But again, we didn't want to remove it because it wasn't there to remove. But we did want to put it on there so that you'll continue to pay for our service.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Now, I am stunned, and mark my words, they will do this. They will reload that episode of Johnny Cash with the Confederate flag, and there'll be like this blur that you'll think, what sponsor were they covering up?
Yes. They will.
It'll come back. It'll be blurred. Yep.
There's also content warnings for Dumbo, Peter Pan, and the Aristocrats, to name a few. Negative depictions and mistreatment of people or cultures on all of those shows. What Dumbo? What is people with big ears? This may offend Barack Obama. We're sorry. Welcome. Great to have you with us. 888-900-3393 and at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. I'll tell you, they're talking about these outrageous bills Texans are being charged for last week. If I get some outrageously high bill after my electricity was off half the time last week for 4 days, it's not going to be a pleasant conversation with whoever answers the phone at the power company. It's not going to go well.
Well, good luck getting someone.
That's probably
on the
true.
line. You probably have better luck trying to get Rolling Stones concert tickets when they're released.
Wait, are they going on the road again?
No, that was just a
generic. Just a
example.
generic.
Yeah, when you call in, busy signal.
Got my hopes all up that the Stones were going to do another wheelchair tour, but
still wheelchair tour.
Yeah.
No, but remember the days when you would call and just be a busy signal at 9 a.m. That's what you're going to get at the power company.
Yeah, there's going to be so many hacked off people that it will be hard to get a hold of them. But yeah, we're hearing $5,000, $6,700. This is for the week, not for a month. $5,000, $6,700, $30,000. Okay, when you shut off my power every hour, so my pipes freeze and explode and run down my wall. Now I'm going to have to pay you $5,000 for that? No, I'm sorry, no, I'm not doing that.
I've already determined I'm going to go back and find my most expensive electric bill over the last 9 years in that house, which is $300 and something bucks, and that's what I'm paying. That's what I'm sending back. And if I'm delinquent, $29,700.
Oh well.
Okay. Well, what are you going to do? Shut off my? Oh wait, no.
Yeah, they will. Okay. Yes, they will.
They have good practice at that. Jeez. But this is going to get really ugly really fast.
It is. Yeah, it is.
And in ERCOT being the non-for-profit, I realize the electric companies that provide the electricity are for-profit, but this is going to be time to exercise that not-for-profit status. You got some write-offs coming, I'm afraid. Take it up with the federal government, who wouldn't let you power up at the cheaper rate.
Exactly.
That's what this is a lawsuit between Texas and the federal government, not us and the electric company. Because if you missed it earlier in the Pat Gray Unleashed program, we've talked about how the higher rate is because
Texas is able to power up and fill the need for a week like last week. We can do that. Yeah, everybody's disparaging our grid now. They chose to go it alone, and now they're suffering the consequences. No, that's not what happened. Yeah, we chose to go it alone. We have more electricity, more resources, and use more than any other state in the union. And we can fill the need when it becomes extreme, like last week. So, but they have to go to the federal government. They have to go to Big Brother and say, please, may I increase my power output so that my citizens can stay alive in the dangerous cold? No, you can't. Not unless you charge them $1,500 per kilowatt hour. I'm not going to do that. Well, then, okay, you can't increase your capacity. And that's what happened. They were told no by the Department of Energy. So don't tell me it's Texas's terrible decision to go it alone. It's asinine, and it's unbelievable that story's not being told. You won't see that on CNN. They'll never admit that Texas has the capacity and asked to use it last week, and we're told no.
That's a lack of leadership by Greg Abbott.
That's terrible. Just do it,
man. What are you talking about?
Don't ask for permission. Just do it. Go the Nike way. 888-900-3393. Got these tweets. Jay Kiefer tweets, can I deduct on my taxes the cost of masks? You know what? That's actually a pretty good question. I wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder. Since they're mandated, should be able to, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that it adds up to an awful lot, but...
By the way, can we stop with the masks dangling from your rearview mirror in the cars? I can't take it. I can't. Bring back the fuzzy dice. Because I can't take the mask. Look at me, everybody! I'm showing you that I care!
Well, they might be doing that so that it doesn't touch any surface.
Oh, is that what it is?
I think so. I've done that before.
Oh, okay.
Although I'm too embarrassed to let it dangle, and so I stopped doing it and just put it in my glove compartment.
Okay, yeah, all right.
And then I think, whatever. I'll just inhale the germs. Tip over and capsize tweets, objectifying and chasing women. How long until Cheers is canceled because of Sam Malone?
Don't give them any ideas. I was just thinking the other day, I need a Cheers binge.
Scott Howard tweets, speaking of ridiculous warning labels, the Andy Griffith Show on Amazon has a warning label for violence.
That's true. I've seen that. Yes, that's absolutely accurate.
Are you kidding me?
A couple of your viewers...
He wouldn't even wear a gun. That's how opposed he was to violence.
That's true. He always had to load it and get it ready before he went out to take care of some bootlegger or something.
He didn't even wear a gun.
That's a good point.
That's amazing.
Violence.
Ridiculous.
Okay.
What a world.
What a world.
I mean, could you even... You just stop and you have to wonder sometimes. It's just the awe-ness, the awe-inspiringness. I'll bet awe-inspiringness is not a word.
Not Googling it.
No.
So, hold on. Is there sexual warnings on, like, a drag queen
I doubt it.
Runway show or whatever?
No way.
Somebody let us know.
They would not do that, I'll bet you.
But Andy Griffith, okay, that's...
Yeah, violence.
That's,
may contain violence. That's shocking to children.
Which consists of Barney Fife nearly shooting his foot off.
Yeah.
It's over, man.
Wow. All right, 888-900-3393. A Biden advisor, one of his COVID advisors, was talking about California and Florida and trying to explain why the numbers, despite the different different rules in each state and the different handling of COVID-19, the numbers are fairly similar. And a Biden advisor was hard-pressed to figure it out.
I want to start with what we just saw. Contrast states like Florida and California. California basically in lockdown, and their numbers aren't that different from Florida.
Well, good morning, Stephanie. Look,
good morning, Andy.
This virus that we think we understand, that we think we can predict, that's just a little bit beyond our explanation. What we do know is that the more careful people are, the more they mask and social distance, and the quicker we vaccinate,
well, that's
the
not
quicker
true.
it goes away and the less it spreads.
Pause
but
for
we
a
have
second.
got to get...
No, because of the different ways of being handled in California, which is handling it the way you're talking about, and Florida, which is not. What you just said doesn't make any sense, Andy.
Can we err on the side of freedom, please?
No. No, you may not. Let's see what else you had to say.
They mask and social distance, and the quicker we vaccinate, the quicker it goes away and the less it spreads. But we have got to get better visibility into variants. We don't know what role they play.
Right.
Large events, etc.
Sure.
But this is as we all have learned by this time, this is a virus that continues to surprise us.
Surprises us a
very
lot.
Hard to predict.
Hard to predict.
And all around the country,
that's why following the science is hard.
I think we are, but we're not done yet.
But what does that look like? Because people are fatigued by this.
They
want to send their kids back to school. They want to go back to work. They don't want to lose their businesses.
Right.
And they're saying they simply aren't getting clear guidance.
How about that?
Well, look, I think we
it's
lived
an
through
MSNBC
a year,
host.
If I might, over the last year when the end of the pandemic was just around the corner.
Right.
And that is fatiguing because people feel like, okay, maybe I can hold out for another week or what have you. I think what President Biden is communicating is it's still a marathon. There are still challenges. We all wish it was over. And so we need to orchestrate this together. Number one, we need Congress to pass the American Rescue Plan, as you pointed out in your coverage. We can't get through this, and Americans can't get through this without the support of their country.
Although I'll keep my social distance,
well, this world needs a hug.
Until we find a vaccination, there's no substitute for love. So love yourself and love your neighbor,
friend, neighbor, and your friend.
time we loved a stranger, but just a friend you ain't made yet.
It's beautiful.
No, it's not.
No, it really isn't. It really isn't.
By the way, he's talking about avoid large crowds, right?
Yeah.
And you remember we just talked about Florida being doing just as well as California, according to the MSNBC report.
Right.
So over 2 weeks ago, they had a thing called the Super Bowl in Tampa. It's a
Bowl.
the big game. It's called the big game.
Uh-huh.
I misspoke there. And it involved the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All sorts of parties and stuff. The hometown team in there and stuff.
Seems like 25,000 people showed up.
Right, 15 days ago, right? So the spikes in the Tampa area of COVID have not occurred.
Right.
So
yeah, in fact, they did a study, and they found that in the NFL and the CFL, the crowds that gathered when they did, because a lot of teams didn't allow fans to show up. But for the fans that showed up in the cities that allowed it, there was no spread of COVID-19. They found no spread of COVID-19. I wonder why. Could that be because they're in the outdoors and it's not a big problem when you're outside?
And the thing in Florida, they're not wearing masks at these parties and stuff.
That's right.
So
CNN was having a conniption because of the people that were outside without masks.
We're in a store. I want you to look at this. Remember that? It was Shep
a grocery
Smith.
store. Yeah, Shep.
So the national media descended onto Florida and put them under a microscope for a couple of weeks before the Super Bowl.
Right.
And this lady went to a grocery store. Oh my gosh, look at this, Shep. Look at this. Or no, Shep, they were playing a news report, and Shep was just freaking out about nobody's wearing masks.
He was scared.
Because it doesn't matter, man. It doesn't change a thing.
Crazy. It's crazy. All right, let me tell you about Rough Greens. I've been talking about this for quite a while now. Rough Greens is a powder that you sprinkle over your dog's food. It's really simple. But with that simple act, you're providing your dog with essential vitamins and minerals and probiotics and omega oils. Basically, everything your dog needs to be happier and healthier and more active. Most dogs, like mine, like Glenn's, Stu's, love this stuff right out of the gate. Even picky dogs who generally don't eat their food very well literally wolf it down as soon as their owner sprinkles on the Rough Greens. My dog won't eat her food without it. And so they love this stuff, and it's great, but I guess apparently once in a while it takes your dog a little bit longer to get used to Rough Greens. So the first thing we want to see is if your dog will eat it. So now you can get a free bag of Rough Greens for your dog to try out. All you do is pay for the shipping. Just go to roughgreens.com and check this out. RUFFgreens.com. That's roughgreens.com, or call 833-ROUGH-DOG.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
All right, President Biden had some interesting things to say about COVID, taking care of COVID, and then actually brought up the cancer situation as well over the weekend. Here's what he said.
This is a case of life and death. We're talking about
I forget what
people's lives.
Oh, right, people's lives.
I want you to know that once we beat COVID, we're going to do everything we can to end cancer as we know it.
Now, okay. So COVID-19 is the priority,
right,
over the killer cancer.
Yeah,
Huh.
and
all right.
Don't forget it's the COVID. He said,
COVID.
once we beat the COVID.
The COVID.
Sure sign of you're old is putting the in front of
yes
something. My dad used to say, "I'm going to the Walmart," or no, actually, my dad would go for the double. He'd go, "I'm going to the Walmarts." All right, so that's
interesting.
So if he had said the COVIDs, then it would have been a red flag. But he just said,
if I ever start adding the in places where it doesn't belong, slap me silly because I don't want to do that.
And you can do it if you're trying to be funny or ha-ha.
Like the internets.
Right, because George Bush said that.
You're trying to be funny. Well, here's what he promised, I don't know, before he was elected.
Okay.
If I'm elected president, you're going to see the single most important thing that changes in America is we're going to cure cancer.
Oh.
And now he's got a qualifier for that, I see.
Yeah. Well, after I take care of the COVID thing, okay, then I'll cure cancer.
And I've heard COVID is going to be a part of our lives forever. So does that get him off the hook now? And that he's updated his promise about curing cancer?
Yeah, so if we don't cure COVID, he can just not go ahead and cure cancer because we haven't taken care of COVID yet.
This guy.
It's perfect. It's perfect for him. Oh, man. 888-900-3393. Also, there was something amazing that happened in Denver. There was a flight from Denver to Honolulu over the weekend that went terribly wrong very quickly. It had just taken off from the Denver airport. You got a bunch of people going to Hawaii on vacation or going back home to Hawaii or whatever. And then all of a sudden, they hear an explosion and debris is raining down on the city below.
Yeah, the image of the engine on fire is so terrifying.
Yeah, look at this. This is pretty amazing.
Oh, can you imagine looking out your window and seeing that?
And they were just calmly recording it. The person who took this shot said, there was a bunch of people on the right side of the plane that saw it, and nobody screamed. Wow, really?
I understand there was also prayer, like a big group prayer on that plane, too.
Oh, really? That's cool.
I thought that was illegal. I mean, this is a federal airway, and you're daring to pray for your life? What are you doing?
How dare you? How dare you? Apparently it worked.
Mm-hmm.
And that pilot should get some sort of medal for getting him back down safely. That's amazing. There were 231 passengers and 10 crew people. So that's 241 people who are alive today. Even though the plane, one of the engines basically exploded and rained down on parts of Colorado below it.
Yeah, there was. Look at this. They're at a park here, and
and you see the stuff coming down, the debris.
So that she doesn't get hit by something.
Look at that.
Yeah, the kid's right. The sky is literally falling.
I saw the plane engines spike,
wow.
And then I saw things fly out the back.
Oh my god.
Landing and stuff.
Oh my gosh. Hey.
Yeah, some heavy things are falling now.
Now here comes.
Che, why don't we get going?
Here comes a sad
these
part.
Things are just falling.
Yeah, a kid walks by wearing a mask at a park, but I digress.
Well, he's not ingesting the plane parts at least, so that's good.
Right.
Where's Josie?
That's a good point,
Pam. Yeah.
But look, they can't. It's the clouds, you know. You don't see it until they're below the clouds.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that guy's smart. Get underneath that roof.
Mm-hmm.
Got to get the dog. Yeah. But yeah, can you imagine just a day at the park and all of a sudden, literally, the sky starts falling?
Yeah, very weird.
Now, that was just small pieces of debris.
Let's see the big piece that almost hit a house. I mean, this is so close. There's a few things.
Yeah, so
you can see it in the background there behind the camper.
I think that's the thing we just saw that was, on fire. The ring around the engine lands literally just a couple of feet from this house.
Crazy.
And they're home, too.
Uh-huh.
That could have been...
Apparently, a truck was crushed by some of the falling debris, but nobody was in it, fortunately. So nobody on the ground or in the plane were hurt during this. That's just incredible. It's a miracle.
Boy, we needed that
It's a
story.
miracle. Yeah, that's a great story. Also, another great story. People welcoming back Kamala Harris to her hometown. This was really heartening. They love her. They love her, man. There's just no denying it.
Yeah, first female vice president.
Yeah, yep. And they showed up in droves. Here they are.
Let's see what we got here.
Look at that. There are 3 people there. 3.
Wait, are you adding someone? I think that guy's the cameraman.
There are 2 people there. 2 people. I don't want to exaggerate because it's a huge crowd. Look at that. Biden-Harris 2020 sign, and the other guy's waving at... They love her, man.
That was good.
They love her in their
Was that her
hometown.
I mean, that was pathetic.
Welcome back, Kamala. So excited to see her. That's just great, isn't it? That does your heart.
They were probably excited that she left. And they're like, oh, crap, she's coming back. Should we maybe go out and wave or something? Ugh.
Her parents thought, yeah, let's do that.
Her parents. That's all. That's the only people that showed up.
And so they did.
So pathetic. But more people in the country voted for the Biden-Harris ticket
than anybody in the history of the world.
I'm just repeating a fact, Pat.
Right. 81 million people, and look at how excited they still are.
Still are. Because.
So. There it is. Look at that. Look at that. You can't control that crowd.
So hold on. You got the cameraman. You got the person holding this camera for us.
Uh-huh.
You got as many camera operators as you do crowd attendees there. Good night. How embarrassing.
Oh, that's amazing. Just amazing for a I don't know, a vice president who is so popular that she was part of a ticket where they got the most votes in the history of the world.
And then when you see anecdotal evidence such as that crowd size, it's pretty obvious that that's true.
Right. Exactly right. Also, I love this story. At the University of Washington, students want to cancel George Washington.
Wait, the guy the school's named after?
Yeah. The guy the school's named after, the guy the state is named after. They're pissed off that they've made these demands, and so far the president of the university has not acted on them. So now they say, we've had enough.
Oh, no.
Thus, black students will work together with faculty, allies, and local activists to ensure that our demands are met. And here are the demands.
All right, here we go.
Break all ties with SPD, the Seattle Police Department, both formal and informal, in the form of contacts, agreements, and arrangements. We suggest taking the following steps. Immediately stop handing over people detained by UW police to SPD custody. Stop using Seattle police to respond to public safety needs, including referrals for welfare checks under the Safe Campus program. And stop using Seattle police for additional security for any events, including sporting events, concerts, and ceremonies. Okay? Just no ties with Seattle Police Department. I think that'll work out really well for these students. I do. Disarm and... okay, so no Seattle police.
Okay.
But also disarm and divest from UW PD. So we don't even want the student police involved in anything.
That's what I was going to ask. Not even campus police?
Not even campus police. Nope. Sorry. Number 3, allocate funds to black RSOs and the American Ethnic Studies Department. That's another good idea. Hire more black faculty. Okay, it's only 1% black faculty. I think that's reasonable. Do that. Number 5, increase the diversity credit requirement and make African studies a major, because those are always so good and so pro-American.
In demand, too.
Oh, sure.
When you get that diploma and you get your African studies
you can
degree.
do a lot with that. Number 6, remove statues of racist figures like George Washington in particular, who symbolizes a man who owned over 300 black slaves and profited from their labor. You know the university's named after him, right? You understand that, right? And the state that you live in is named after him.
Well, they'll want to change that, too.
They will. Watch them.
Pat Gray, only on the Blaze Radio Network.